My ex-wife treated our son like a pawn in her revenge game, so I changed the rules when she wasn't looking. On this day 2 years ago, I caught my wife and her lover in our bed. Our son was having nap time in the room next to them. Just 2 weeks ago, we'd celebrated our 5-year anniversary. I'd gifted her tickets for a holiday to 7 different countries. Tickets that I could see in the guy's wallet on the locker right now. My heart broke on the spot. I didn't even say anything. Just left the house and went for a 12-hour drive well into the night. When I came back to the house, everyone was gone. Her lover, even our son. The only meaningful thing I found was the stack of divorce papers on the table. I called her on the spot, but the call didn't even go through. She had blocked me. I tried everything to reach out to her. I went through legal channels, different numbers, nothing helped. I didn't even get to see my son again until 2 months later when the divorce was finalized. And believe it or not, only then is when the real nightmare started. My son used to be this joyous kid who loved his dad more than the world. We'd play fight and build forts out back all the time, but now he wouldn't even hug me. The first time I saw him in months, he kept glancing at his mother's car while she stared at him in the same threatening look she had when I caught her cheating. Once he was in my car, things got even worse. I told him our favorite knock-knock joke, and he started to smile, but then his face went blank, almost like he was trying not to interact with me. That was the story for the whole day. At drop-off, I confronted my ex-wife. "What are you teaching him?" She smirked and said she was just protecting him. I told her to stop poisoning him against me. She stepped closer and whispered that if I kept harassing her, I'd never see him again. I backed away at that moment. What's even worse is that when the divorce went down, my wife was awarded primary custody on the basis that I was unstable. And the second it was over, she sued for primary custody. This meant I only had supervised visits until the hearing. Those visits were the ones that really made me question what was going on. My son sat frozen on the couch without saying a word to me. I tried everything. Jokes, silly faces he used to love, even his favorite cartoon that never failed to get a laugh out of him. He refused to interact with me. To make things even worse, my ex-wife started posting on Facebook about protecting children from narcissistic abuse, not mentioning, but very clearly referring to me. It was humiliating. I must have reached out to her 100 times asking her to stop doing this to me, but I didn't even get a word back. Just word from her affair partner that my harassment was being documented. I remember everything boiled over when I arrived at his school for my Thursday pickup. This was supposed to be my supervised visit, my chance to connect with him again. But when I approached the school gates, his teacher blocked the entrance. I asked what was going on, and she said my ex-wife had called her. She'd warned them I was dangerous and abusive. If I didn't leave immediately, they'd call the police. Other parents stared at me and whispered. I drove home in complete shock. That night I sat in his empty bedroom, knowing I had to act. I researched parental alienation law and filed an emergency motion. The judge reviewed my evidence and granted one unsupervised visit before the custody hearing. He warned this was my last chance. The night before the visit, I had my plan. I was going to coax the truth out of my son. The next day, my son arrived completely withdrawn. I took one look at him and told him to wait on the couch and I'd be back. I came back out to him 5 minutes later in the Super Dad costume. You see, Super Dad was a character I'd invented when my son was 4. He loved superheroes. So I figured that whenever he was sad or upset, I could turn into one in front of his eyes and make him feel better. It always worked. Super Dad helped my son a lot in his hardest moments. When my son cried, Super Dad would tell jokes until he laughed. When my son's teacher harassed him, Super Dad had him moved classes. Super Dad fixed everything. Well, when I came back out, my son's eyes went wide with recognition. Super Dad, he whispered. I knelt down and asked what was really happening. Why was he so distant with me? Was Mom telling him anything? Well, that's when he broke down sobbing. He told me that Mom made him practice mean words about me every night. She said that I was a mean dad and told him fake stories about his childhood as proof I was a terrible father. She wanted him to take the stand and lie about me hitting him. I remember holding him so tight he might burst when he told me this. And after he was calm enough to talk again, I took him to get some ice cream. And it's over a chocolate sundae that we created our plan together. I taught him that superheroes tell the truth. When court came around, he took the stand. His mom was looking at him like she was about to take his head clean off if he didn't stick to the script, and he just looked at me with these scared eyes, but also an ever so slight smirk. That's when he started speaking. His lines were rehearsed. Daddy hits me. Daddy was always mean to us. I looked over to see my ex-wife grinning like she had won, until my son looked right at her. That's what Mommy told me to say, but none of that is true. She's the real meanie. Full story on channel, linked below.